In today's hyper-connected world, Namibian businesses are facing a whole new playbook of threats. So, in this explainer, we're going to break down the critical external risks that every single company, whether you're big or small, really needs to get a handle on to protect itself. Let's dive right in.
Here's the thing. As Namibia's economy fully embraces digital payments and remote work, we're opening up all these new doors. And not just for innovation, but for criminals too. This digital shift has basically created a brand new hunting ground, and our local businesses, well, they're the prime targets. So you have to ask yourself this question, and it's a tough one, because honestly, complacency is a criminal's absolute best friend. But the good news is, just being aware, just watching this, is the first and most powerful step in building a solid defense. So, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at why local businesses are suddenly in the crosshairs. Then, we'll unpack the key threats. We're talking digital attacks, sneaky payment schemes, and deceptive scams. And we'll wrap it all up with a clear, proactive defense strategy you can actually use.
All right, let's kick things off with the attacks that target your tech and, just as importantly, your trust in the people and processes you rely on every single day.
First up, we've got ransomware. This is digital extortion, plain and simple. Your files get locked up tight, and you get a demand for a big payment. And look, don't think for a second this is some far-off threat. According to NAMCERT, several Namibian financial institutions have already had to fight off these kinds of attacks. It's happening right here.
Now, business email compromise, or BEC, is so simple it's scary, and it's devastating. A criminal just fakes an email from the CEO or a supplier you trust, urgently asking for a payment to a new bank account. Local SMEs have lost millions this way, all because an employee trusted an email that looked totally legit. And this brings us to a huge takeaway. Any request that tries to bypass your normal approval process, that is a massive red flag.
And then there's this old trick. You get a random call from someone claiming they're from your bank or your IT support. They try to create panic, telling you there's a problem, and then ask for remote access to your computer to fix it. The Bank of Namibia has been shouting from the rooftops about this one because it's a direct line for criminals into your accounts. The rule here is simple. You never, ever grant remote access to someone who called you out of the blue. Period. Okay, next up, let's look at the threats that go straight for your company's wallet. We're talking about fraudulent payment schemes.
Phony invoice schemes are all about exploiting your daily routine. Your accounts team gets an invoice that looks exactly like one from a regular supplier, like Nampower or Telecom Namibia. But there's one tiny critical change: the bank account number. Without a strict verification process, that money is just gone. This shows you exactly why a quick visual check just doesn't cut it anymore.
For businesses in tourism, hospitality, or any kind of online retail, chargeback fraud is a serious headache. A customer makes a totally legitimate purchase with their card, they get the goods or services, and then they turn around and call their banks to falsely claim it was fraud. The bank reverses the payment, and you're left holding the bag.
This slide is so important for understanding overpayment scams. A scammer accidentally overpays you, often with a stolen check or a dodgy transfer. Then they call you in a panic, begging for a refund of the extra amount. You, trying to be helpful, send the money back, and then days later, the original payment bounces. So how much of a refund should you give before a payment has officially cleared? The answer is right there. Absolutely zero. You know that classic Prince email scam? Well, it has a corporate cousin. You get an exciting notification about a big government tender or a business grant you've supposedly won. The only catch? You have to pay a little processing fee or a registration fee first, and they almost always ask you to send it to a personal bank account. It's a total con that just plays on your ambition.
All right, our final category of threats are these deceptive scams that prey on your company's good name and your drive to grow and succeed.
This one is especially nasty. Criminals get a hold of your company's registration details and start impersonating you, opening up lines of credit, ordering goods in your name, you name it. Namibia's own Business and Intellectual Property Authority, BIPA, has actually warned about a rise in fraudulent changes to company records, which makes it absolutely vital to keep an eye on your official filings for anything that looks suspicious.
And it's not just your official identity thereafter, it's also your reputation and your marketing budget. We see this with two really common scams that are all about stroking the ego. You've got vanity award scams, where they congratulate you on some prestigious award you've never heard of, which you can claim if you just pay a fee. And then you've got SEO scams, promising you the #1 spot on Google, but delivering absolutely nothing of value. Both are just designed to suck your resources dry.
Okay, we've gone through a lot of the threats. Now let's pivot to the most important part, your defense. And the great news is that a few really solid habits can protect you from almost everything we've talked about.
Your whole defense can be built on 4 simple pillars. 1. Verify everything, especially when it comes to changing payment details. Pick up the phone and use a number you already trust. Don't just hit reply on the email. 2. Train your team. They are your human firewall, your first line of defense. 3. Secure your tech. Use multi-factor authentication everywhere you can and keep regular offline data backups. And 4. Document your processes and then actually stick to them. No exceptions.
I love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. Thinking about fraud prevention isn't some extra expense to be trimmed. It's a core investment in making sure your business actually survives and thrives.
So, at the end of the day, it all comes down to this. Building stronger controls and creating a culture of healthy skepticism isn't about being paranoid. It's about protecting all the hard work you've poured into building your business.
And you know, the insights from this explainer are grounded in material from the certified fraud experts over at SUA Growth and Integrity Consulting. They specialize in helping Namibian businesses build exactly these kinds of defenses. Thanks for watching.